Okay, so we recently rounded up all of the best true wireless earbuds on the market, but they all have that in-ear design which lots of people just don't get on with. So today we'll be looking at an open earbud that has the benefits of things like spatial awareness and, for many people, improved comfort, but also doesn't have the limitations of bone conduction alternatives that require a band around the back of your head and that typically suffer in the sound quality department too. These are the new OpenRock Pro from OneOdio. Let's get into it. So first off, inside the box you get the usual paperwork, a short USB A to C charging cable, and finally the earbuds themselves. They come in this pretty big and bulky charging case, which opens on a magnetic hinge to reveal the earbuds inside. We're looking at a very simple black and silver design for this all-plastic earbud. It's neither subtle nor especially modern or premium looking, and when you're wearing these, people are definitely going to notice. They look fine, but this sort of industrial design is not my favourite. My least favourite aspect though is the charging case, which I personally feel is just unnecessarily big and you'll struggle to fit this in your pocket. But it does keep the earbuds safe and it's certainly very easy to store and retrieve them. They magnetically slot back into place and these subtle blue LEDs will glow to let you know they're charging. There's a single button on the underside of each earbud to control playback, volume, skip tracks, or summon your voice assistant. The button is clicky and tactile and perhaps a sensible choice over touch controls for what's designed as a workout earbud, though I imagine some will find it slightly on the small side and not one you'll locate instantly. There's no companion app, which means no customization for those controls, and there's sadly no wearing detection either. Fortunately though, the control scheme is mapped out pretty intuitively anyway. On the inside here you can see the speaker grills, which will sit just above or over the opening to your ears. To wear these, you simply rotate the ear hooks over your ear and they're immediately in place. One of the perks over the in-ear style is that it's a universal fit. You don't need to spend any time adjusting the position, although the ear hooks are flexible and allow a little bit of movement to tighten or loosen the fit. This came in handy when I needed to give them a squeeze and tighten up the fit to stop them moving as I ran, but since then I've had no issues and they don't bounce around or even move very much whilst I'm exercising. Obviously, because of that ear hook design, there was no risk of them dropping to the floor either, so for sports like cycling and weightlifting, they've been absolutely fine. Despite their size and weight, which are relatively big and heavy for an earbud, these are surprisingly comfortable. I've worn these for over 10 hours in a single listening session and had no complaints whatsoever, which is far more than I can say for most earbuds. Because there's no ear tip pushed into the ear canal, you don't really get any ear fatigue. Of course, you're not going to want to lay down on your side with these, but even if you're doing an ultra long workout, these should be absolutely fine. If you're a glasses wearer, you should be okay as well, and I found these still left enough room for both. Leaving your ears open and exposed to your environment means there's none of that cabin pressure-like sensation, and of course is great for spatial awareness. These are designed to let you still be able to hear your surroundings even with your music playing, which is useful for security as well as comfort when outdoors. The downside obviously is that your music isn't isolated, and will have to compete with any background and wind noise you may encounter, but I'll cover this in the sound quality section. Ideally, I'd have preferred the earhooks to be a bit slimmer, but I expect the reason they're so large is to fit the huge battery inside. These will actually last 19 hours on a single charge. I listened for just over 10 hours at around 70% volume, and they still had 50% remaining, so these are definitely built well for endurance. With the charging case, you'll get a total of 46 hours, so these definitely last a really long time between charges, which is great because unlike a lot of the in-ear style earbuds, these will actually last for extreme events like hiking and ultramarathons. Plus, it also means fewer charges overall, which in the long term is great for battery health. You're probably not going to be able to bring this bulky case out with you on a run, so it's a good job the actual earbuds carry such a long playtime on them as well. There's no wireless charging with this case, so it's USB-C only, and a 5-minute fast charge will get you an hour of playback. To cover some other specs, these have Bluetooth 5.2 and support the SBC, AAC and aptX codecs. I didn't have any lip sync issues, so if you want to use these to watch videos, they should be fine. There are no fancy connectivity features though, like multipoint, Google Fastpair or location tracking. These also come with an IPX5 protection rating against jets of water. Obviously, full waterproofing would have been nice, but this should easily cover most outdoor use.
Now for the phone call quality, I was really pleasantly surprised. Not only are the mics exposed to background and wind noise, but you've also got nothing blocking your ears to help you hear the caller. But even testing these in light wind and near loud passing traffic, phone calls still came through pretty clearly. In a noisy environment, you can crank up the volume to hear your call over the background noise for most situations. These use dual noise cancelling mics to help isolate your voice, and although you can still hear things like passing cars, it does slightly minimise their impact so your voice still comes through clearly. In very windy conditions they struggle, but so do most earbuds. So overall, the call quality was pretty decent.
So let's talk about sound quality. Firstly, let's just cover the obvious and say that with an open design like this, you're never going to get a very immersive experience or a particularly good bass response. Just hold any in-ear pair of earbuds outside of your ears and listen to what happens to the bass to get some context. This design also means that others around you are likely going to be able to hear what you're listening to. The sound leakage isn't particularly bad with this pair, but you'll disturb the person sitting next to you with anything above 50% volume as a minimum. Fortunately, there is just about enough bass here that your music doesn't feel empty, and there's a clear step up in the overall sound quality against both bone conduction alternatives, and especially those cheap non-branded Amazon options you've probably seen before. These aren't immensely detailed, as we might expect, but at the same time the highs aren't overly boosted or sibilant, even at higher volumes. The vocal clarity you get is high enough for you to be able to enjoy podcasts and audiobooks, and music sounds clean and pleasant despite missing that full-bodied character that a closed design would give you. But to address perhaps the key aspect, the volume, this I think could be an issue for some. For me, they were loud enough in most situations I tested them, including outdoors, but if you're in a noisy, perhaps a very windy environment, then you may find these aren't loud enough. With the open design, you sacrifice the luxury of passive noise isolation, and you're relying solely on the volume of the earbuds to drown out unwanted noise. So I personally feel that the volume should at least be able to reach a level where it's uncomfortably loud in a quiet room, that the maximum is too loud, and that way you've got some scope for those trickier, noisy environments. For me, it's only just uncomfortable at maximum in a silent room, so I think a bit more volume would have been better for these. As we know, there's no companion app, which means no software updates, and therefore, what you get out of the box is your permanent experience. We aren't getting any improvements later down the line unless OneOdio develops an app. You can't really change where the speaker grill will sit over your ears either. That's going to come down to your ear shape. So it keeps things nice and simple, and you'll get a consistent listening experience every time you wear them, which is good. But at the same time, if you did want it to be closer or to change it in any way, for instance to try and increase the volume, there isn't much you can do. Overall, I've been pleased with the experience and pleasantly surprised by the comfort these offer for long listening sessions. I'll be honest and say there's nothing truly compelling about the feature set or the quality of the OpenRock Pro that makes me have to grab this pair in particular, but I think OneOdio recognises that with their pricing, and they certainly tick the right boxes for the mic and sound quality. There are no major shortcomings beyond what affects all open design earbuds, and you may be enticed by the physical button controls and what is a huge increase in battery compared to most of the competition. Not to mention the fact that the charging case holds a lot of extra juice as well and can recharge the earbuds on its own. That's strangely not actually a given with these earhook style open earbuds. There's a discount available on these at the moment, which I'll leave linked in the video description, and if that brings these to anything below the $100 mark, I think that's a pretty reasonable deal, and undercuts names like Bose and Dollar Dance in this space. As someone who spent the past few months wearing various in-ear style earbuds virtually non-stop, it's been refreshing to wear an open style earbud for a change. So if you're someone who's looking for that too and needs something suitable for ultra long workouts that doesn't break the bank and still sounds pretty good, these are well worth looking into. Let me know what you think about these in the comments section, and of course ask any questions you have. Give this video a like if you found it helpful, subscribe to see more content like this, and thank you very much for watching. I will see you all in the next one.